everyone, this is Megan and I'm here with another process video today. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the products I'll be using. I have this picture of my two sons and some blue scraps. I want to use these teal stickers down at the bottom and this beautiful paper with the gold foil roses and some stickers and gems and stuff. So I've already cut a couple pieces of paper down to the way that I want them to look behind the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and layer those up. And I'm going to try a technique today that I saw another scrapper on YouTube. Her name is Annie Lumaye, A-N-N-I-E-L-U-M-A-Y-E. And she did a Project Life video the other day where she went around all the cards with some white paint, and I really liked the way that looked, so I went ahead and scrap lifted that idea to do to some of my papers. And I'm just kind of going around real messy, not trying to get it too neat at all. I don't do a lot of mixed media, but I'm finding that the more I experiment with it, the more I'm having fun with it. So right now it's kind of expensive to get into all of the mixed media with all the paints and distress inks and all that stuff. So I have this white acrylic paint laying around that I've had in the house for a couple years, and I figured I'd use some of that. And I'm just going to outline all three of these blue papers. I would love to build up a supply of mixed media supplies. I've been wanting some embossing powders and a heat gun for a while now. Maybe for Christmas. So after I get those all painted, I'm going to set them aside and let them dry. I'm going to set aside the paint. And I know that I want the picture up in this corner where there's not any of the roses on the page. And I'm going to go ahead and use my X-Acto knife to cut around that one rose in the middle so that when I put all of the layers and the picture on there, it'll overlap just a little bit. And I can use it as sort of an embellishment next to my picture. So it takes me a minute to go around this, and I don't end up getting it big enough. You'll see when I go to put my papers and stuff on that I have to go back and cut around it again. Now I think my papers are not quite dry yet, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on my title. I know I want the title for this picture to be Gavin's Room because we had fixed up, this bedroom used to be my older son's playroom, and we fixed it all up and put a rug down in there and turned it into a bedroom for our baby. And we hadn't really spent any time in there as of yet. This picture was taken in April, and we kind of just went in and closed the door and sat in there for a couple hours and played with all of his toys and everything. So it was a fun change of scenery for everyone. So I wanted to name this one Gavin's Room because we went in there and hung out. My paint is mostly dry, but I'm just dabbing off some of the spots that are still wet, and I'm going to go ahead and tape my picture down on this dark blue and layer up all of the pieces that I have painted around. Yeah, like I said, I really am enjoying using some paints and inks and things on my pages, so you might be seeing a little more of that from me coming up. I'm finding with this kit that I put together, there's too many papers that are too similar, and I'm only on layout number 4. I've already done 5. I just need to do a voiceover for it. And I'm already finding myself getting bored with it. So I think the next kit that I put together, I'm going to do a wider range of colors and things so I can really get some different looking layouts with it. And that's what I was hoping to achieve with this white paint around the edges too, something a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fit that photo and the papers in behind that rose, and I like the way that looks, so I'm going to tape it down. And I have a little trouble with my tape gun. I think this happens to a lot of us, but I just go ahead and tighten that up and we're good to go. Get that taped down and put in behind that rose right there. I just thought it was awesome that my older son wanted to go in the baby's room and hang out with us, so I'm going to use this sticker. It says the family is one of nature's masterpieces, but I decide that that also is going to need some white paint around to bring in that white that's around the top, the photo and papers. So I'm going to make a small strip of paper to go down in the left corner, and I'm also going to paint around the outside of this sticker as well. And then I'm going to set those aside to dry and figure out where I want to put my title on here. Now that long teal and blue label sticker, I really want to use that on this layout, and I try a few different times and it just doesn't work for me. So I'm going to try it down here and I'm going to move it around on the page and really try to work it in. It's just not happening for this page. So I decide to put the title right underneath the picture. So I'm going to line it up with the bottom of that blue paper and stick those on. The sticky stuff on the back of my letter R pulled off when I was taking it off the sheet. So I have to remember to go back and glue that one down. After a minute I realized that it's not sticking, and that was why. There was no sticky on the back of it. So I think the strip and the sticker are pretty much dry now. I'm going to see if I can incorporate one of these burlap bows. I didn't like it next to the picture, so I just stick it down there on my wax paper so that I can use it when I'm ready to. I thought I would use this geotag since we're here in Gavin's room. Some hearts. I love these hearts. I made these with burlap print paper, and I just cut out some different size hearts and taped them. No, I used glue. I glued them down to one of the pieces of, it's kind of like chipboard that's on the back of a paper pad, and I just glued them on there and cut around them so they're a little bit thicker. They're not just paper. And I like using those. I'm going to outline them with my white pen so they stand out a little bit against the background. And I did put that burlap bow down in the left corner with that little cluster and a heart right there. I'm going to outline these hearts as well. Now this page, that big cluster of roses that was on the page, I really wanted them to stand out, so I didn't do a whole lot of embellishing on here. I did want a little embellishment cluster down in the left corner, but other than that, I pretty much left the page blank so that those gold embossed or gold foil roses would really stand out on the page. Now I am gluing down the geotag, I believe. Yep, trying to get my glue to work. I'm running out. I have a big bottle, but I'm trying to get the rest of that little bottle used up. Oh, and I just glued down that R. And I decide I'm going to use these teeny tiny gems for some bling on there. So I put a few down in that left cluster and a few up here next to the photo in that cluster. And I end up putting one right inside the geotag after I get the geotag up there in the left corner of the picture. Right there, yep, I'm going to put one of those gems right in the middle of that. And I really like the way that looks. I want to keep it pretty simple, so I'm going to try this label sticker again, and it just doesn't work. So I'll put that aside for another project. I think I'm deciding that I'm going to call it done, and I'm seeing if this blue pen will match the papers pretty good. I have to check under the corner of my photo to see what the date is. And I'm going to do a little bit of journaling about the story I told you, how it was our first time hanging out in Gavin's room, so we just kind of went in there and closed the door and hung out for a bit. I didn't have to chase him around at all. He just played in his bedroom and he loved it. We spend a lot of time in there now. Now that he's been in there once, he wants to go in all the time. Once I get my journaling done, my page is all finished. This is a pretty quick layout, and I've got some photos at the end so you can see the close-ups of the embellishment clusters. So thanks so much for watching. Bye!